Hey there, it's Scott Oldford, and if you're looking to scale up your business that's at $50,000, $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 a month, I want to bring you through some of the concepts, some of the things that you should be thinking about. So really this is about going nuclear, or what I call the nuclear effect, which is essentially all the systems in your business working the right way and working together. So there's really 6 major reasons why you can't scale. It comes down to your marketing, it comes down to your sales, your client delivery, your operations team, your finances, and of course, your mindset. Now, I've talked about this a lot, the 6 pillars of a multi-7-figure business. But this is so important because if you look at this, every single thing, every single problem that you have in your business, and if you want right now, just take open a notepad and take these 6 parts, put it over, and later on, after you've watched this video, I want you to do a very quick exercise, which is take everything from your head that's a problem in your business, or even like an anxiety, something on your mind, and start putting it under these 6 categories. So every single business, what you have to realize about building businesses, you never actually have less problems when you build a business. Like, I think there's this mentality, maybe because of Instagram or Facebook, where like someday it's all going to get better. Someday it's all going to get easier. Someday it's all going to get, whatever that idea is or concept is in your mind. But all it actually comes back to is the fact that someday you're going to have a new problem, right? And someday you're going to have a new opportunity, right? So you get the option to be able to look at it as a challenge, or you get the option to be able to look at it as an opportunity. But every single one of these things are going to be in these 6 buckets, right? So if you don't have enough customers, then it's going to go back to marketing. If you don't have the ability to close enough people into sales, it's going to be your sales. If your client delivery sucks, people aren't going to stick around, which means your lifetime value is going to be low, which means that from a finances perspective, you're going to be in a little bit of a bad place. And from a marketing perspective, you're going to be in a little bit of a bad place. Now, the interesting thing is every single one of these interconnect, right? So mindset, of course, interconnects the whole thing. One of the biggest reasons why most people cannot scale up their business is because their mindset is stuck on things that allow them to get to where they're to, but not into the next place. This is the reason why most people get stuck at 7 figures. This is the reason why people only increase their business by 10 or 20% on a year-by-year basis, is because of their mindset. Not because of their operations, not because of marketing, not all these different types of things, because all of these things are reliant upon your mindset being able to kind of be dialed in. And the mindset of a multimillionaire and the mindset of somebody that's being able to build a business and kind of almost scale the mountain per se, is very different than somebody that just gets from $5,000 a month to $25,000 a month over a year or 2 or whatever it might be. So the second piece of this is the financial side. I think there's the other kind of lie where you think there's going to be like 12 months or 18 months or 2 years worth of cash in the bank when growing your business. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit, but the more you grow, you have 2 options, right? You have the option of growth and you have the option of profit. And the problem is that most people think they can profit a lot while growing a lot. That's typically not true, okay? And I'm not saying that that's not always true, but you also got to realize that most people take on investment. And if you're here and you're an online entrepreneur, more than likely you haven't taken on investment from a seed round or anything outside of maybe a loan or credit cards or whatever it might be. And from a financial perspective, all of these things, again, rely upon the financial model that you're going with. How much are you willing to risk? What are you willing to put on the line to be able to grow the business? How much profit do you want at the end of the year? What profit margin do you want? All of those financial questions then lead back to these here being able to be either solved or not solved. So typically what I see is entrepreneurs that realize that money is the, I'll say, cheapest currency, are the ones that are able to grow their business the quickest. And what I mean by that is realizing that money is fuel to be able to grow the business. And if you grow the business properly, that's going to come back to you with a real return on investment. And it's not about the biggest difference between a business that's at $250,000, $500,000, $1 million a year and one that's at $5 million a year and really growing is they are looking into the future, a year to 3 years, instead of looking at every single month having more and more profit every single month. So that's these are 2 of the biggest reasons why the other 4 don't happen. Because if you really look at it, have a marketing problem, listen, that's easy to solve. We're going to talk about that today. You have a sales problem, again, easy to solve. Every single one of these problems inside of these 4 parts of the business are very, very quote unquote easy problems. Yes, they might need to require hiring someone, getting a mentor, getting an advisor, getting a consultant, whatever it might be. But those issues, when we really come back to it, are all solvable things, all things that you can solve. But it comes back to being able to have the right mindset around it and then being able to understand what you're comfortable with from a financial side. So there's a reason you can't scale, or sort of the pillars or levers that you can pick or kind of push-pull to be able to scale. So the common sort of hamster wheel that people get themselves into, sort of like reasons why people get on this sort of so-called hamster wheel. Doesn't matter if you're at 6 figures, 7 figures, multi-7 figures. I see a lot of entrepreneurs get on a lot of different hamster wheels, right? So the first one is launching all the time. So launching every couple of months, right? So you're always on this launch hamster wheel where you get an infusion of cash, you grow a little bit, infusion of cash, grow a little bit, have a bad launch, had to go back, let a few people go, launch again, so on and so forth. So the second hamster wheel, which sometimes can be related to launching, is the kind of massive ups and downs. So you go out, you get a bunch of clients, you have your do delivery, go back out again, up and down. One of your Facebook ad campaigns or Instagram campaigns works for a little while, then it doesn't again. And so essentially what this really comes to is that business kind of happens in this up and down, up and down, up and down. And anytime you're in a place where you don't have a ton of cash in the bank and you have to be sort of predicting the future in some way, it's really hard to scale your business when things are constantly up and down, up and down, up and down, instead of a steady growth curve over the span of, say, 3 to 4 months. Then from this as well, they're not really like growth stacking, or what I'll say, being able to being in a place where they are stacking their wins or stacking the different things that they're doing to grow the business. So most entrepreneurs that have gotten to $1 million or $2 million, they're not kind of in a bunch of different channels. They're not utilizing referrals. They're not utilizing, organic traffic. They're not utilizing the ability to have a monthly recurring revenue side of the business on the back end of the business, right? So they're so focused on the one thing because they don't have the capacity to do more, and they don't have the team to do more, and sometimes they don't even have the know-how to be able to do more, okay? So the fourth reason, of course, is they can't afford to scale, okay? So I went back to the finance part just a moment beforehand. The reason most people cannot scale is because they can't afford to scale, meaning they can't afford the marketing, they can't afford the sales, they can't afford a salesperson, their product doesn't cost enough, right? So they don't have a high enough margin on their actual product. Really what it comes down to is if you're going to scale, you have to scale something that's profitable, because if not, you're going to end up broke. And you're going to end up in debt. I've been there, know it, it hurts, don't want you to ever do that. So the fifth one I see a lot of the time is an entrepreneur's at $50K a month, $100K a month, they know what got them there, but they have no idea what to do. They have no idea, do I fix marketing? Do I focus my attention on client delivery so that I get more referrals and I get higher retention so I have a better lifetime value? What do I do with this, right? So it just comes from the fact that you've never done this before. And when you haven't ever done anything before, and there's no textbook on, hey, here's what to do, then it becomes really difficult to be able to scale. I'll say the next one is the spaghetti method, which is kind of the opposite of, I don't know what to do and I can't afford to scale. This is more along the lines of like, you do everything and you say yes to everything and you're trying 20 different strategies all at the same time. So you're like scrolling through Facebook, looking at all the marketing people, all the business growth experts, and you're like, yeah, I'll do this and I'll do this and I'll do this. Yeah, guess what happens? Most of it fails, not because they weren't a good methodology, but because you didn't really focus on one or two. So you always want to be able to not necessarily go with the spaghetti method and want to go with more of a strategic methodology at the end of the day. Seventh, of course, market changes. The market changes, especially online, so quickly. What worked on Facebook 6 months ago doesn't work anymore. What worked 2 years ago in client delivery doesn't work anymore. These things change so quickly, so often, and if you're not looking really into the future, or you're having someone to guide you into the future to know exactly what it is that you need to be doing, it's really hard to like have that outlook. The other thing is, when you're like in your business, right? When you're not really like kind of looking outward and you're not looking out into the 2 years, this stuff creeps up on you and like slaps you in the face when you don't even know it's gonna come. And so this is, a lot of the time, this is what I see where, you know, a webinar worked for 3 years and then something came out and just slapped them in the face and they're like, whoa, what happened? When it was completely, like, we knew it was going to happen. We knew that that was going to happen in the market at some point. And so a lot of it comes from market changes that people aren't planning on. And then of course the last one is just straight up burnout. You know, there's only so long you can do everything. If you don't elevate yourself from being in your business, if you do not elevate yourself so that you have sort of a machine inside of your business, and so that you have to always be doing everything. If you're going to be in a place where there's stress response every single day, entrepreneurs have more fight or flight response, have more adrenal fatigue than pretty much anybody else, right? We have so much stress, so much responsibility that's on us. So if you don't get out of the business, and we're going to talk about this with the 5th level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is self-actualization. If you do not get out of your business, if you do not implement some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about today, I guarantee you at some point, might be a year from now, might be 3 years from now, you are going to face burnout. I see it every single day. And when you face burnout, no amount of money, it just doesn't matter. You don't even care about money anymore, right? You're away from having the tiger on you, but you just want to sleep because you went past your body's ability to stabilize. And you can do that for a while. But what if there's a better way so that you don't have the burnout? What if you could build a business that allows you to be a real business and have a real business? Because most entrepreneurs, the problem is most entrepreneurs run a business like a hustle. They run a business like a job. If you take yourself out of the business, ask yourself this question. If you go from your business for a month, what happens? Does the business, blow up? Does the business stabilize? Is the business growing? Until your business automatically grows with the system that you've created, you do not really have a business. You have a good paying job. You're cool, your family thinks you're cool, your friends think you're cool. Yes, there's a lot of advantages. But I'm in the business and I'm in the belief system that you need to be building a systematic way to deliver value that automatically grows over time. I'm not saying that that's going to take a small amount of time and that's not going to take a lot of effort. And I'm not going to say that most entrepreneurs never get there. 100%. Most entrepreneurs never get to $1 million in revenue, all right? You have a 4% chance at being able to have have $1 million business, 7 figures, right? So 1 and 6 zeros. If you go past that, you have even a smaller chance of having a systematic business that grows without you being the founder, being there, driving the growth every single day of your life. And that becomes a lot of burnout and creates a lot of problems for you as a human being, right? Because instead of being a human being, you end up being a human doing. And human doingness is not really what we were supposed to do here on Earth, in my opinion. So, if you're here, if you're watching this still, you might be thinking, all this sounds intense, right? I mean, and entrepreneurship is by far the most intensive personal development I've ever done in my entire life, right? I mean, if I look at any career I could go with, anything that I do, this is by far the most difficult thing I could have ever done. And it's the same for any entrepreneur that's out there. So, when it really comes to this, what is the reason? Why is 7 figures so important? Why 7+ figures so important? So here's the first kind of thing I'm going to tell you right off the bat. This prized place of $1 million in revenue is complete BS. All right, your lifestyle between $250K a month, or sorry, $250K a year to $1 million a year, nothing's going to change. Okay, the only way that's going to change is if it took you 10 years to get to $1 million, because anytime you're growing fast, you're putting the money back into the business. Now, if you really look at it, if you look at paying taxes, paying your people, taking all care of absolutely everything, this basically gets you to a point of having like a nice, cushy job in a nice place, living a good life, okay? Now, I had someone the other day, this was brilliant, and they said, I realized that I had to be rich because I wanted to be comfortable. And in order to be comfortable, you gotta be rich. And I was like, that's some shit right there. That is some shit right there. Now, here's my belief on this. The reason I want to be wealthy, and the reason why I want you to be wealthy is because of this. So if you ever go on Google, type in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Not sure if you've ever, of course we teach this in school, in some school systems and so on and so forth. But there's essentially five levels. There's the sixth level. We won't talk about that today. We'll talk about the fifth level. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this today. It might be a session for another training at some point. But most entrepreneurs are basically to the point of having, they have a place over their head. They, at this point, if you're at 50,000 a month, if you're at 100,000 a month, you're basically around here, okay? So everything's taken care of, you have money, but there's still stress, right? There's still stress. You have love and perhaps affection that, might be from of yourself or somebody else or whatever it might be. Now, most entrepreneurs, most people, regardless of how much money you make, the goal is always to get to the top level, which is self-actualization. Now, the goal of that's not to get to that, not to so you can go buy a car, to buy the car you want or the house you want. But self-actualization does this really interesting, funny thing to you, and it essentially makes it so that when you wake up in the morning, you not only know yourself, you're your authentic self. You not just only know what you actually want to do in this world, not what the world has told you, right? Not the belief system of the world that has told you, but actually you. And this actually brings it to what you actually care about. Because more than likely the business that you're in right now is not really, if you had $10 million in your bank account, more than likely 8 out of 10 people that are watching this video, maybe you right now, you probably wouldn't do this, what you're doing right now in your business, okay? That's the truth. Now, if that hits you in the face, slaps you in the face, that's okay. What got you here and what will get you there won't get you to the next place. That's why you can have the ability to sell businesses or transition businesses or whatever it might be. But none of this can happen until you look at your bank account and be like, I'm good. None of this can happen until you can be like, I'm good, and not only am I good, but my family's good. And this can't happen until you then go out and say, you know what, my community is good. And then at that point, you can basically change whatever you want in this world. Right? Entrepreneurs are the people that actually really change things. And we have the power to be able to do that. It's why our mission at our company is to be able to help entrepreneurs change the world and solve the world's problems by solving the entrepreneur's problems. And I think that that's really cool because that ties directly back to why having a multi-million-dollar business is so successful and why being a multi-millionaire, an actual multi-millionaire, is so important. Because it changes how you look at the world. It changes your perspective of the world. And as soon as your perspective of the world changes, and as soon as you realize the belief systems that you had are not true, as soon as you realize that your value system may be a little bit different than it actually is, once you realize that money is the largest amplifier for everything, good or bad, and that if you are a good person, you are going to become a better person. Once you realize all of this, it becomes really easy to be motivated to have a multi-million-dollar business. And I know for me, it is what motivates me to work with all of the entrepreneurs that I work with. A lot of people just like you. It's not because I want them to have nice cars and nice houses and to be, amazingly cool and influencers on Instagram. I really don't care about that. I care because we're living in a time in our world where things are really interesting and fun and weird. And I don't believe in the government to fix that. I believe in people like you and me over the next 50 years are going to do it. But we're only going to do it if we build a foundation today. But this is really difficult because you're not a CEO. More than likely, if you're watching this, there's a 95% chance that you're really not a CEO. Now, you might call yourself a CEO, the chief, executive officer, but you're probably not. What you really are is an entrepreneur. Now, an entrepreneur is driven from creativity. You're driven from connection. You're driven from learning new things and seeing the world in an interesting way. You value thinking. You value flow. You value having your calendar open so you can just think and be. Entrepreneurs are the best people to be able to do absolutely nothing and make the most amount of money from doing it. One time, one of my mentors, this was when I was 18 years old, and I was very, very fortunate to have a mentor that was a billionaire. And I never understood what he said at the time. I just kind of laughed it off. But a few years ago, I really got it. And he said, Scott, your job as an entrepreneur is to have your feet on the desk doing nothing as much as possible. Now, I thought that was an arrogant thing of him to say, but it's actually the accurate thing that an entrepreneur should do. It's the reason I'm not the CEO of my company, because I'm better being able to form partnerships. I'm better at being able to innovate. I'm better at being able to look at the big picture and be able to understand where we're going and being able to connect with the people that are needed to get there. It's doing things like this on video. It's being able to connect with you as an entrepreneur that need the help of my business, just like you're likely the same type of person. So entrepreneurs aren't CEOs, but right now you're kind of playing both sides. You're like working in the business, but you're kind of working on the business, but you're kind of like doing the creative, and you might be, doing the Instagram posts and the Facebook posts and being the influencer and doing all these different types of things. And here's the thing, you have to stop at some point and zero in on the zone of genius. If you want to have a multi-million-dollar business, it doesn't happen by doing all the things. It's by doing what you do incredibly well. It's your level of mastery that makes the ability to monetize and help the people that need your help. Because all that monetization and scaling up really means is you're scaling up how much impact. And you are directly, this is really important, you are directly compensated by the amount of value that someone both receives and perceives that they have received. And that is how business works. And so one of the biggest things that I'm going to be talking about with Project Nuclear a little bit in a little bit is you going from being an entrepreneur to going back to being an entrepreneur. Because in some life cycle, we have to become the CEO of our business, and then we need to hire somebody to operate as that COO or that operations person or whatever it might look like based on how much revenue you're generating. Oops. So one of the biggest parts of being an entrepreneur and being in your business is you kind of like got to have 4 hats. So a while ago, I published this on Entrepreneur Magazine. And I essentially said there's 4 different sort of hats you got to put on. There's actually a lot more, but 4 direct hats you got to put on. So you have the entrepreneur, you have the investor, the CEO, and the owner, okay? Now, essentially, whenever you're making a decision, you got to kind of put the right hat on, okay? So if you're looking at your profit and loss statements, you do not bring the entrepreneur to that conversation, okay? Because the entrepreneur is like, who cares about I'll make more money, I'll figure it out, the whole 9 yards. So whenever you're in a financial discussion, you want to be more the investor or more the business owner, okay? So, but then when it comes to, say, for example, marketing, and you're figuring out the next marketing campaign, you do not want to bring the investor. You probably don't even want to bring the owner. You want to be the entrepreneur, the innovator, that type of thing. So here's why I talk about this. If you run your business and you want to scale your business up, if you want to go from $50K a month to $100K a month or $100K a month to $300,000 a month, your job is essentially put these hats on and take them off when needed based on the 6 pillars that I showed you later, okay? So you do not bring the entrepreneur to finance meetings. You do not bring the entrepreneur to client delivery meetings. You sort of kind of got to be all these 4 people, because when you have a company that's $20 million a year, you're going to be the entrepreneur, you're going to be the owner, but you're not going to be the CEO, and you're really not going to be necessarily an investor. But at that point, where you're 2 right now, you got to be all 4 of these, all right? The problem that people have when scaling, and just another issue, right? Another opportunity for you to evolve, is you pick one of these and you go all in. And then you look at all your problems, all your challenges, all your opportunities with one lens. And when you do it with just one lens, you're essentially shorting yourself and shorting the potential, because if you looked at your financials as the investor, you're probably going to manage your financials better. If you manage your financials as an entrepreneur, you're going to suck, because entrepreneurs, we don't really care about money for the most part. Okay? So I wanted to add this in here for you, because this is sort of like, you draw this graph, put it on your wall, and be like, all right, where am I going to make this decision today? If I'm doing finances, am I over right here? If I'm doing marketing, am I over here? And essentially use it to think about how you're making decisions, because it's really important how you make decisions. And to that, it's really important that you make the right decision at the right time. The right decision at the wrong time will bankrupt you. The right decision at the right time is what builds successful companies. So I want to talk about the typical growth patterns inside of a business, okay? So essentially, most businesses grow a little bit like this, okay? If your business is like this, you're basically, your ability to make the right decisions, you have no ability to make the right decisions. Unless you have money in your savings account, you're going to go in debt by having this growth pattern, right? So this is launch model. This is you doing the sales. This is you managing the finances. This is you spending money out of your business like it's your bank account, right? Your piggy bank, all right? This is the typical growth pattern of a business, which is, oh my God, we don't have money. Let's go make some more money. Let's do some promotions. All right, we got money. Cool, everything's great. 2 months later, we're down there. This is how most businesses, it sucks. This sucks. How can you hire people? How can you make the right financial decisions? How can you spend money on ads the right way? This is basically looking at your bank account and being like, oh, I have X number of dollars. And we all have a threshold, right? We all have financial threshold, right? So, a lot of people have a financial threshold. First, it's $50,000 in the bank, and then it's $250,000 in the bank, and then it's $1 million in the bank. And if it goes below it, we freak out and we try to, go create some stuff, and it motivates us again. All right? So this is kind of like the lion trying to find us business model. Right? Now, here is the problem with this business model. Most entrepreneurs actually enjoy this business model, right? Because if we had a business model that grew like this, or even an exponential curve like this, we'd get bored, okay? Here's the truth about growing your business. Growing your business is boring, okay? Growing your business is doing a lot of things over and over and over again in repetitions. Another mentor of mine actually said this to me about 4 years ago. He said, Scott, I didn't get rich from doing innovation. I got rich by having repetitions. Because what do I want to do I'm still like this. I'm not gonna say that I'm any better than anybody else. This year, I would much rather that, because I'm on a new mountain. There's a new mountaintop every 3 months, right? Let's go on the mountaintops. And what do entrepreneurs do? We are fueled by the next mountain. We are fueled by the journey, by the adventure. We want to say that we're fueled by impact and everything else, and in a way we are, okay? But most people that are not on the 5th level of the hierarchy of needs, self-actualization, this is where they stay. This here is when you have to keep on firing, employees, team members, because you don't have enough money. This is when you're looking at your ad spend and sweating each day when you're spending money and you don't know when it's going to come back. If you want a real business, this is not possible. You do not grow a business this way. All right. This is how you get adrenal fatigue. This is how you just honestly you blow it up and you go nomadic and you say screw it to everything. I did that. That's why I'm using the example. You know what I mean? So like this here, I know it doesn't work because I am experiment number 1 doesn't work. Guarantee you, I've seen so many other entrepreneurs do it. I mentor people every single day to try to get them out of this. If you can't get this nice growth curve, okay, at least get the exponential growth curve, for God's sakes. This one here, you are better than it. And if you can't figure out a way to get your kicks and your dopamine hits in some other way, like go start skydiving, scuba diving, get a family, something, because I guarantee you this here is the way to grow a business, okay? This right here. This here is what all the entrepreneurs do that are on Instagram making themselves look a lot better than they actually are. Cool? All right. So this is the part of the conversation where I tell you two things. This is a part of the conversation where I'm way more fun than the first part of the conversation. The second part, this is the part where I tell you how I can help you. So no crazy NLP marketing stuff here. Just me telling you how to, how I can help. And what I do that has helped like dozens upon dozens of entrepreneurs scale multi-million-dollar businesses. And here's what I realized. Okay, here's what I realized. And here's what we do inside of Project Nuclear. Right? If you don't know what Project Nuclear is, I'll tell you about it in a minute. And you can decide if it sucks or it's great. Up to you, really. So essentially, there's 4 different main phases that someone needs to go through to be able to really scale a sustainable, scalable, multi-7-figure business. So not a business that's going up and down. You have a month of 400,000, a month of 100,000, a month of 500,000, a month of 200,000. So first off, and if you don't know what the ROI method is, I'm not going to go into it today. You can search in your browser. We might have a link there, theroimethod.com. You can go into the rabbit hole. All it is a methodology for marketing and sales. Here's the thing. If you cannot get your marketing and sales automatic and you don't have people that are willing to work with you and you're getting a steady flow of perfect clients looking to pay the perfect price that have a connection to you and your brand, you can't scale a business. I mean, you can scale a bit, you can scale a hustle, but you can't scale a business without that. So the first part is being able to get your messaging in, your positioning, your offer, your omnipresence. And ROI stands for relevancy, omnipresence, and intimacy. So essentially, I say the best way to be able to market to someone is to be relevant to them. So to have the right messaging, have the right offer, the right positioning, the right unfair advantage, all these different types of things. Then create this blue ocean approach so you're relevant to these types of people, and then show up to them all the time. And the omnipresence and the intimacy utilizes a lot of different scientific, psychological behaviors and functions that we know work because there's so much science backed up in it and so much research backed up in it. So I created a methodology to make it so that you understand how to make it work really well. And if you implement that, you create the first level of baseline, okay? So you have a bunch of people that want to work with you, right? So what happens when you got a bunch of people that want to work with you? Then the rest of the business literally deteriorates in front of your eyes, okay? So now the problem is you have an operations and delivery and team problem, okay? So, and again, I'm not going to go into this today, but the ELPS protocol, okay? The ELPS protocol essentially is what we've developed to be able to help you on the operations client delivery, to be able to make it so that you have all these people coming in wanting what you have, and now we ought to be able to create a system to be able to deliver it. Because I guarantee you, if you have 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month, if I tell you, you know what, Paul, how many new clients could you take, right? Or how many more leads do you need? Typically, most of the time, if I say, hey, I can give you, and this happens a lot, and this is why we developed this protocol. We launched this methodology. It broke so many people's businesses. We had to launch a second methodology to fix the fact that everyone's businesses kept on breaking from having too many leads and too many people wanting to work with them, right? So first, we fix the marketing and sales problem. Then we fix the operations and team problem. Then after that, so after you have, marketing and sales sort of, I don't want to say fixed. I'll say accelerate it. We then want to be able to accelerate the back end. And then we implement the playbook. Now the playbook's essentially how everything works. Because if you have to be the one that knows how everything works and your team is not empowered, if you don't have the right culture, if you don't have the right systems and processes in every single part of your business, everything from your finances to your operations to your client delivery, things are going to break down and they're going to continually come back to you. But worse off, it's going to make it really difficult to be able to scale up in a profitable way, okay? So the whole idea here is that things get more profitable. When you put marketing out at first, it's going to be less profitable, but you have the right client delivery, right operations, you're going to have higher lifetime value. It's going to allow you to build ascension levels. It's going to be able to allow you to build in monthly recurring revenue, because you don't want to just have revenue that's coming in every single month. You want monthly recurring revenue. You want to be able to have continuity programs. You want to be able to wake up every single... The day that I woke up and I had more money coming in on a monthly recurring revenue than my expenses was the day that my business just became so easy for me, because everything I did was now working on a profitable endeavor, okay, or a profitable advantage. And then finally is the machine, okay? So here's basically what happens. And I know I'm front pacing this a little bit, and I'm trying to lead you in to the whole idea that Project Nuclear is the best idea for you if you're over $50,000 a month in your online business. Quite honestly, that is the truth, right? The reason I have conviction, the reason I'm telling you this, because I don't think there's anything else out there better than this for being able to scale an online business. If it was, I'd either acquire it or I partner with them. So, you know, quite honestly, from all the results I've seen, everything I've seen out there, it's just literally the best. Now, the playbook creates the operational side and the back end side. The machine allows you to get out, okay? So you build the business, the machine allows you to get out. Because if entrepreneurs work more than 10 hours, 5 to 10 hours per week in their business, even on their business, they start going completely wonky, okay? Especially once you get to 2 million, 3 million, 4 million on a yearly basis. Because once you get to a point where you have more money than you need, you have to figure out a reason why to keep working, okay? Because here it's easy. But if you do not get to having it as a machine that is ran by somebody else inside of the business, if you do not get to a place where you have the right help from a mindset perspective, you're going to do what I did, which is completely go off the rails. And thankfully, that happened back in the past, and I'm not blowing up businesses anymore. Because see, we want to build businesses where you don't have to blow it up. We want to build businesses that are based upon you, your authentic self, but also not reliant upon you, right? You got to realize that there's a difference between you being the business owner and, of course, you being the business. And that is the difference here. So overall, and inside of Project Nuclear, we do this over just over a year, where we bring you through this 4-step process. Each part is 4 months. And essentially what we do is we bring you through the 4 phases of being able to stabilize the front, the marketing, stabilize the back end, and then, of course, be able to build a sustainable and really self-sufficient business that delivers value on a day-to-day basis, regardless of what you are bringing into the business itself. That doesn't mean that you're retiring anytime soon. It just means it allows you to build a business better. And if you're anything like me, once you get to the machine level, you're like, all right, what else can I do? What else do I really want to do? And this is what led me to being here right now and talking to you right now, because I realized, you know what? If I want to be able to change the world, I have to have thousands of people like me that are really value-centric and that are wanting to be able to be amplifiers in our world and to be more than just an entrepreneur. And that only happens when you have a business that's profitable, that's sustainable, and that's scalable, that doesn't rely on you being there 50, 60 hours a week. Because that's not the life that anybody wants to live. And that's not the life where you're living up to your fullest potential. So what do you do? So you know what you need to do. You have all these different pieces. You need to be working on the pillars. You need to be working on all this type of stuff. So what do you do? So what I did, okay, over the past number of years, I hired mentors and coaches and advisors and therapists and went to masterminds and events and all these different types of things. Look, the list is endless. How much money you have to spend in order to grow and know what to actually do, and then have the mindset to be able to do it, and then figure out the finances. It's a lot. It's a ton, right? So, and all these people cost a lot of money, right? Mentors and all these different types of people. And then not only, also don't forget about hiring the actual support you need for the implementation side. And then you don't even know, do I even have the right strategy? And is this strategy just something that I made up and I think it's going to work because I might be a little delusional and I don't know if this is going to work? Because remember, entrepreneurs, we're really good at being delusional. We're really good at being in reality distortion field, right? So what do you do, right? This is the part of the conversation where I'm like, hey, Project Nuclear, you should probably apply. So it's why I created Project Nuclear. So origin story time. I kept on working with people, kept on mentoring people, right? And they kept on having a lot of success, right? And so whenever people have success, they kind of travel, the word travels, and so on and so forth. But I had a problem, all right? People need more than mentoring. People need coaching. People need advisory. People need help on all the pillars. Got to tell you, I'll be very honest with you, not great at operations, not great at finance. I'm really good at marketing, really good at sales, really good at mindset. Those are my three out of the pillars, the three pillars. Those are the ones that I'm really good at. But you know what? There's other people out there that are really good at those other things. So what I decided about over a year ago now, I decided I was going to take all the pieces, all right? I was going to take all the pieces so that I was able to create a business growth accelerator. Not a mastermind, not a program, not a curriculum, but an accelerator. So I kind of looked at how does Silicon Valley do this, right? How does tech companies do this? And I brought this back. So being able to, of course, have masterminds, being able to have all the components that you need from an accelerator. So having a mentor, having coaches, having people there that have been able to do this. And so we've built an entire team that allows for implementation support. We've built masterminds for in-person. We've built an online community. We've built an entire infrastructure to be able to take entrepreneurs that are at $50,000, $100,000, up to $250,000 a month and be able to, in a systematic way, bring them through a year-long process that takes a lot of work to be able to build your hustle, to be able to build your business into being a real business, one that distributes value every single day. And because at the end of the day, I didn't want to create a scenario. I didn't want to create another mastermind. I didn't want to create another coaching program. I wanted to create what I needed when I was at $1 million or $2 million a year in my business. And I always searched for it. And there was always this piece and always that piece and always this piece. But there was nobody that was able to take really a group of people that we've done and a group of entrepreneurs to help the next generation of entrepreneurs. And that's what we've done with Project Nuclear. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to do here because this is not, just some other program. This is not you just going in and just going through. This is the level of intimacy and the type of people that you need to be able to scale up. Because if you try to scale up by yourself, it's really difficult. I failed when $1 million in debt doing it, right? I've tried it many times. I've had a lot of failures. I've had a lot of good things. But overall, I knew there was a better way to do this. I knew there was a better way to be able to take somebody in that's at 50,000, 100,000 and be able to help them scale up. And you know what? I was right. And that's what we've been able to do. Time and time again, when a person has the right business, when a person is the right person, when it is the right market, and they have the right values alignment, we are able to systematically scale them over the span of a year. And we've been able to see it time and time again. And we have lots of results that we can share with you to show that, which may or may not be on this page, depending on where you view this video. I want you to apply for Project Nuclear if you're generating above $50,000 a month. I want you to apply for Project Nuclear if you want more than just a piggy bank to utilize on a month-by-month basis. I want you to apply for Project Nuclear if you're done just being an influencer on the internet. I want you to apply for Project Nuclear if you want to actually have a business that someday you can sell. I want you to be in Project Nuclear if you're ready to have the commitment and look yourself in the mirror and actually know that, yes, I want to have a business that supplies not just the lifestyle I want, not just the impact I want, but it literally gets me to the place so I can wake up in any morning and be like, I'm doing what I was supposed to do here on planet Earth. Because we need more people like that. And the more you have a profitable business, the more you can be the truest, most authentic version of you. So all the details are probably either above this video, below this video, wherever it might be, whether it's through the application or reaching out to me. Take a look at this. Take a serious look at this. And if you're ready, apply today and let's see if this works for you. Because I know there's nothing out there that can do this. I know there's no group of people out there that can do this better than us. And it's time for us to be able to help you scale the mountain. I'll see you soon.